Hi, Drama 103 classmates. So, for my presentation, I'll be talking about the Colosseum. And so, the Colosseum is located in Rome, Italy, and is also known as the Flavian Amphitheater. And it's the largest amphitheater in Italy at its time and was constructed finally in 80 AD after 10 years of working on it. And so, it has an oval design and is was made to be 50 meters tall and 156 meters wide. And they used the materials of concrete and limestone to construct it. And in its design, it also features many columns and arches for support. And the arches are also used as entrances into the amphitheater. And there were 80 of them total, 76 of which were open for the general public to enter, and then four of these that were reserved for higher class citizens such as senators or the emperor and their family. And so it did get very hot in ancient Rome, as it still does today. And so, part of the construction of the Colosseum, they added what was called the velarium, which is a retractable awning structure that covered 2/3 of the arena and provided shade from the sun and also protection for the rain for the audience members in the Colosseum. And so the floor of the arena of the Colosseum was made of wood and was covered with sand. And beneath this floor was this really cool area that was called the Hypogeum. And so the Hypogeum was this underground structure that wasn't visible to the audience but lied beneath, where it had tunnels and cages, and in these tunnels and cages they held gladiators, animals, and like scenery pieces, and there was 8 vertical shafts located beneath the main arena in this hypogeum that could instantly bring any of these items up to the arena floor very quickly during a performance or show, which is very exciting for the audience to have these things spring out of nowhere onto the arena stage. And so there were many various kinds of performance that were held in the Colosseum, with some of the most popular of these being live animal hunts, where the Romans would import animals from Africa, such as lions or rhinos, and most of the citizens in Rome had never seen these animals with their own 2 eyes. So watching people on the arena floor hunt these animals for their entertainment was exhilarating. And these live hunts usually occurred in the morning part of the show slate. And then in the afternoon, there was often criminal executions that were open to the public. And then during the evening, which could be considered like the prime time of the day in its performance schedule, was usually the gladiatorial games. And so after the Colosseum was constructed and opened in 80 AD, these performances were held, different spectacles and games, all day, every day, for a 100-day period. And while most of these performances were battles and games, there was also various parodies and reenactments that were shown. And one of the most popular subjects at the time was religion. So many of these reenactments were of mythological tales. One of the most popular of these being about the sun god, who was very prominent in Rome at the time. So now when it comes to kind of what we've been learning with our class material this quarter regarding liveness, it's kind of my belief that the concept of liveness was largely the same in ancient Rome as it is today. And some aspects of liveness, are interaction with the audience and also the willing suspension of disbelief. And I feel that these are not only present in today's performances, which we can see, but also existed throughout the performances during the Colosseum's prime time as well. And another aspect of liveness, I feel like, is how our senses interpret and experience the performance live. And so one thing I thought about this in regards to the Colosseum is that, they didn't have the technology we have in today's theaters with speakers, to project noise or audio. So it must have been really hard for people in this vast arena with among so much audience members to, hear what the performers are saying. So I think that would have played into the experience of watching a performance there live. And I think one thing I also found actually was that they played music a lot of the time because of this, because they wouldn't be able to hear, the performers or the people in the arena. And another thing I thought about in terms of the senses was how it must have smelled in the Colosseum, just because when you think about all the bloodshed and death that occurred there, paired, with these often high temperatures in Rome, just this like aroma or stench that probably persisted in the Colosseum must have really been a unique and prevalent part of the live viewing experience there. And another part of this viewing experience, I think, would be just how vast and large the crowd was, because it could hold over 50,000 people. And I think being able to interact, collectively among these people and interact with them would really go to serve, the community dynamic of an audience, which I think contributes, to like this liveness aspect of viewing a performance in the Colosseum. So something also that was revolutionary about the Colosseum at its time was that people of all social classes were able to attend these shows, including unaccompanied women, and as well, their tickets to the shows were often free. And another development that came with the Colosseum was these tickets had assigned seats, which allowed them to fill and empty the Colosseum in its vastness fairly efficiently. And so seating in the arena was organized by social hierarchy, with the senators and highest up in the first front rows, and then the knights sitting behind them, and then the low-class plebeians would be sitting, in the furthest back, highest up seats, along with these unaccompanied women that attended the shows. And so that's kind of an overview of everything I learned in my research about the Colosseum, and I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.